Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming today to this fantastic event, our dedication for our track and our facility. Obviously, welcome to Coach Walter R. McCloud Track. Thank you, everyone, for coming today. The Yuma High School District Governing Board voted unanimously on Wednesday, September 11th, 2019 to name the track at GW Carver Park after a Yuma High coaching legend. Unfortunately, due to a pandemic and COVID-19, we've had to delay this event for some time so that we could have it safely, which is obviously very important. We wanted to have a safe, positive event where everyone could come, gather, take pictures, and that's why the event was delayed, the time it was delayed. More than 1,300 signatures were collected and obtained by community members, so that was fantastic. A valiant effort was given by everyone that collected signatures. I'd like to thank everyone that played a part in collecting the signatures. I'd also like to thank our YHSD governing board for approving this unanimously. I'd like to thank our superintendent, Gina Thompson, for her support. Thank you. Behind the scenes, we had Robinette Reed, Philip Aiken, and Ashley Aiken collecting signatures. Thank you for all your efforts with that. I'd like to thank the YHSD facilities and Jay Munoz for the installation of the sign, putting that all together, the logistics with the sign that was placed here. That looks fantastic. Longtime track and field coach Walter R. McCloud will forever be linked with the track, where he dedicated so many hours over 3 decades. The Carver Park track will be known as the Walter R. McCloud Track at GW Carver Park. We're gonna hear quite a bit about Coach McCloud, but I just want to list a few of his accomplishments. He's birthed city, state, national champions, collegiate athletes, Yuma High School Hall of Famer, an Arizona State Hall of Famer, and an Olympian. He's coached at multiple high schools in the area, helped out countless athletes in the area with track, but also with life as well. Was a mentor to many people that turned out great and really developed people. So really appreciate that. As I said before, the YHSD board unanimously voted and approved, pardon me with the wind, unanimously voted to name the track the Walter R. McCloud Track here at GW Carver Park. So it's very important that we recognize that the school board did that. And our next speaker will be the vice president of our school board. And I'd like to welcome to the podium Shelley Mellon.
Thank you. What a beautiful and exciting day. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Walter R. McCloud renaming ceremony at Carver Park. It's my extreme honor to share this extraordinary day with Coach McCloud, his family, his friends, his former athletes, and our community. After hearing from our community, the Yuma Union High School District Governing Board voted unanimously, like we mentioned, to rename the GW Carver Park to the Walter R. McCloud Track at GW Carver Park. For over 3 decades, Coach McCloud has dedicated his life to coaching thousands of youth in the sport of track and field, and he's also mentored them in life skills. He not only coached those that had never played a sport, but he also prepared athletes for international competitions to become collegiate athletes and future Olympians. Olympian Jackie Joyner Kersey believes that the glory of the sport comes from dedication, determination, and desire. Achieving success and personal glory in athletics has less to do with the wins and losses than it does with learning how to prepare yourselves so at the end of the day, whether you're on the track or in the office, you know that there was nothing more you could have done to reach your ultimate goal. I'm sure Coach McCloud's athletes would agree that what they learned from Coach McCloud on the track transcended to their personal adult lives. I love how Coach McCloud's former athletes and parents joined together to champion the renaming of this park. Coach McCloud, we thank you for your passion and investment of your life to make all the difference in the lives of our youth. We are here today to honor you and your legacy. Coach, you are a tremendous inspiration to all of us. Well done. Thank you for allowing me to celebrate this incredible, historic moment with you.
Thank you, Mrs. Mellon. Next, I have the opportunity to introduce a Yuma High alum, a Yuma High Athletic Hall of Famer, and also an Olympian. Our next speaker will be Jacqueline Johnson.
Thank you.
I hope you guys don't mind. I'm going to take off my mask. Because I'm already soft-spoken, I'm nervous, I'm very emotional, and I actually wrote a speech for you today, Coach, and I'm gonna actually send it to you after today. But, hello and good evening. First and foremost, I would like to thank God for bringing everyone here today safely to honor Coach McCloud. Second, I would like to thank all of those who thought of, who gathered, who planned and set up and did whatever it took to bring us here today. Last, but definitely not the least, I would like to thank my husband, my family, and all my friends who continue to love and support me unconditionally. Thank you. Thank you all. I decided to write a speech for today, mainly because I have so many memories and so many countless things that I want to say. And I wanted to have the opportunity to organize myself and keep me focused and on track. Lord knows I would be all over the place if not. Also, I figured I might be emotional, which I am. And what a better way to make sure that I get all the important stuff out that I wanted to make sure that I said. And just a secret for those of you who don't know me, I hate giving speeches, but shh. Don't tell nobody. Let's keep that between us here. So here it goes. Coach, what an honor it is to be here to speak at this ceremony today in honor of you. You may not know, or you may know, but you have not only made an impact on this community, but had a major impact on my life. And when I say my life, I mean my life. Because it all started when I was just 8 years young. Sorry, 7. Let him tell you. And I won't share with you all my age today, but Coach, you are one of the very few individuals who made such an impact in my life. Whew. I will never forget the day it all started. Well, I don't forget because not only has it been said to me many, many times, but because of how it started. Sorry, I keep losing my space. Because I'm crying and all that stuff. But because of how it started, my life is what it is today. But here's the story. And long story short, my sister, Jessica, a lot of you guys know her, went and asked my mom, can I join the track club for the Yuma Valley Flyers? And of course my mom said yes. Next thing you know, I was sent to practice with my sister to burn out some endless energy I guess I had. Although I was sent to track practice to burn out some energy, I was not doing any sorts of track practice. I was instead climbing fences, trees, and anything else I can find not having to do anything with track. But Coach McCloud, some way, somehow, and thankfully, you managed to get me out of the tree one day and put me in the blocks. Just for funsies. It was that instant moment my life changed and history has been written. Instead of rags to riches, I like to say I went from fences to the Olympics. Started with me making nationals my first year with the Yuma Valley Flyers, all the way to representing Team USA in the 2008 Olympics in Beijing, China. Funny story is, some of you may not guess this, but I actually started running just the 400 meters to suddenly I was a multi-eventer. Coach McCloud found more and more of my talents and abilities every day. I continued to show up to practice by simply asking me to try something new, and he was impressed by how I managed to master it. I'm assuming he was impressed. I don't know. Coach, were you impressed? And from that first day in the blocks to a multi-eventer on the Yuma Valley Flyers turned into a dream come true, representing the U.S. as a multi-eventer. Honestly, Coach, you were the first person to tell me I can make it to the Olympics if I wanted to. I took that statement, I held on to it, and I ran with it. You always believed in me since day one. You put that nugget in my head and continue to push me all the way to Beijing. And in between all of that, I have so many great memories of my childhood with you in it. From us playing tag in the middle of a national park, you cheering me up because I was down, us being delayed all day for flights because you kept splitting the poles. I told you, Coach, that it was bad luck. I don't know if you remember that one. Us being lost to find our dorm at nationals, you taking a whole car of us to track meets in Phoenix, you telling all of us to get out of the hot tub because it will burn out all of our energy. Funny story, I never believed you until I got older, and that I needed all the energy I can preserve. You know, just like how I tell my kids things now, and I know for sure they don't believe me, but hopefully they get it one day, because I did. Full circle, right? Putting together banquets for us, attending banquets with me, all the high school track meets we went to, you renting charter buses my senior year for all of our way track meets. Spoiled. He spoiled me. You sending care packages to me while I was at ASU. You know, college, us college folks, we need that. You coming to some of my track meets while I was in college. You calling me up just to meet you for lunch while you're in Phoenix. Texting me every holiday, birthday, and congratulating me for every big event in my life. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And I could honestly be here all day. However, I'm not going to do that to everyone. Coach McCloud has not only made a huge impact on my life, but has made an impact on this whole community, obviously. Coach, there is no amount of thank yous, gifts, ceremonies that can amount to how much you truly deserve. This is the least we can do for how much effort you put into this community. You are justly just one in a gazillion. I am truly honored and blessed beyond measures to have you part of my life, and I am privileged to call you my coach. I'm going to leave you all with this quote by someone unknown, but when I read it, it resonated with me, and it is exactly how I feel, by experience. A good coach impacts your game, but a great coach impacts your life. I love you, Coach McCloud.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker was instrumental in getting over 1,300 signatures. I'd like to welcome Ashley Aiken to the podium.
Thank you, Mr. Fitz.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm used to hand sanitizing being a teacher. Before you come in, you gotta hand sanitize. Being here is an honor. Looking at this track is an honor. Looking amongst these faces, this family is an honor. I've experienced so much growth as a human here. I spent more time with the people at this track than I have with anyone else. And thanks to Coach McCloud, who has been a father, who has been a counselor, a teacher, literally. I met Coach McCloud in the first grade. He was my substitute teacher. Came in with his pen and his list, and he was ready to go, checking off names. And I remember at PE, he said, "Young lady, come here." What? No, I can't. Whatever it is, I didn't do it. And I said, "At the end of the day, you tell your mother to come speak to me before you leave." Okay, sounds good. "Hey mom, my son wants to talk to you." And that Saturday, we were here at practice. "A track, what's that? Running?" He said, "I'm gonna need you to run all the way." He said, "Look, follow my finger. Keep going." I said, "That's a long way for a little girl. And you're gonna come right back here." "Okay, do it as many times as you can." And he just kept going until he's like, "That's enough. You did great." Inspiring, challenging. To be challenged physically and mentally, academically. He made you think out here. "All right, I'm gonna have you run 300 meters. Where do you start? And I hope you pick the right place, because wherever you pick, that's where you're starting." He, inspiring. I was born overseas, and I traveled all over the world because of my parents. Never have my parents traveled because of me until that man. I went somewhere. My parents took their time, their money, their energy, taught us how to fundraise, knock on doors, speak to adults, how to present yourself when you go somewhere. Is your clothes ironed? Did you clean your stinky shoes? Did you wash that bag? Yes, that one in the corner. Do you have your uniform? Do you have your snacks? Organization, these life skills, these important life skills that he had us as young people be responsible for. "Mom, where's my shoes?" Your mom's not running. You are. Where are your shoes? He made us be accountable for us as individuals. I really had to look in the mirror and say, I'm responsible for me. And Coach is putting that on me. Starting and finishing, I'm doing the work. I had to learn, everything. When it came to my senior year, the senior nights, Coach McCloud came and walked me down my basketball senior night with my mom. A teddy bear for my brother, who isn't here, by the way. He's in Kansas. If you didn't know, my brother is Philip Aiken, and he organized all of this, all the way from Kansas. So very appreciative of his forethought to say, let's honor a man who's taught me so much. Like Jackie, I can just go on and on and on. The list is endless. I grew up here. And when I came back, someone's like, "Oh, you want to go down to Carver Park? Do you know where it is?" I scoffed. Yes, I know where it is. I spent many years here in the sun. It's just this family, this beautiful family. And for all the ones who are not here, I just want to say thank you for growing with me. Thank you for allowing Coach McCloud to impart his love and passion on you. Thank you to Mrs. McCloud and Natasha who lived it with us. You know, you watched as your husband did something that he was passionate about consistently over and over again, taking time from his family to make us a part of his family. And I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I learned so much from him. And I'm appreciative of you and Natasha from the bottom of my soul. To all of them, as a matter of fact, if you are a parent of an athlete who is underneath Coach McCloud's tutelage, can you please stand? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And if you happen to be an athlete underneath Coach McCloud, for any school that he taught at, especially the Yuma Valley Flyers and any other assistance that he provided, because that's the type of person he is. If you are underneath Coach McCloud, can you please stand? This is family. And as it was said before, Coach McCloud has even coached those who've never done any sport. But he said, track is the foundation of everything. You want to jump? Track. You want to run? Track. You want to throw a baseball? Let me give you a javelin. Track. He made life applicable here. Anything in any situation that you're going through, there is an answer here on the track. And I'm appreciative of all that you've done for me. And it is, wow, it is truly the least that we could do to honor you and how much you've given back to this community. Thank you very much.
Coach McCloud? Oh, sorry. Coach McCloud, would you like to come to the podium?
Thank you, sir.
I don't have a cheat sheet today, so yeah, I really do. So I don't get off course. That was great from the two young ladies, and it's kind of hard to follow some of the things that they were saying were also some of the things that I was going to say. So I'm not going to double that. They said it all. This is my cheat sheet right here. This is to keep me on track. I'm very gracious that and proud that everybody came today to be at this ceremony. I feel proud, grateful, humble, honored, and mostly blessed. It wasn't easy. It was a lot of fun. Had a lot of memories. Today, saw a lot of these kids on the track today. And appreciate everybody coming out. Those had to drive from Phoenix, Tucson, that's great. Las Vegas, so they're from all over. And I appreciate that. Again, give some props, some shout outs, and data boys to Mrs. Sinclair, Mr. Patton at Yuma High who set this all up, and anybody else behind the scene as well. Appreciate your help and cooperation with this. To Philip Aiken again, I've been in contact with Philip ever since it started. He has been doing some good work, and he says he wants to do more. I stay in contact with him on the phone because he knows that I'm not the social media person. I don't do Twitter, I don't do all that stuff. So I found out about this in Sam's Club some time back. I was in the line, there was a young lady in front of me that I kind of like recognized, but she was expecting a child, so I really couldn't, So she looked around at me, and she started smiling, and she went through, and then I went through and she waited. When I got over there, it was Caitlin Williams, who went to Carver High, and she ended up at Yuma High School. And she was telling me, how do I feel about this, what's going on, and I'm standing there, what are you talking about? I mean, I didn't know. So she told me and explained, and that's how I found out about it. From her and one more parent, Miss Jackson. I saw her in the grocery store as well, and she told me about it, and we discussed it. So again, I'm very proud and very humble, and appreciate everything that's been going on and done by Philip. I also like to thank my wife and my daughter for putting up with me, doing this for all these years. And it's been a lot of years. I won't get into how many, because it's a lot of years. But I appreciate that, and I love them both for doing that, staying with me. Coaches that I worked with that had faith in me gave me the opportunity. We started in 1981 and 1982 would be Patsy Harvey. Her daughter was also in the club, and I had her in high school as well. Mr. Mike Pancrazzi at Yuma High, he gave me an opportunity. Then we move on to Coach Butcher at Yuma High. Then after Coach Butcher, Coach Farr at Yuma High. And the last one was a young lady who went to Yuma Catholic, and I coached in track. She graduated, went to college, got a degree, came back to Yuma, taught at Yuma High, math, and she coached the track team, manager of the track team. Of course, she called me at home. Can you come in, coach, help me coach? I said, I'd love to do that. So I came. That made full circle. Started off at Yuma High, went to Yuma Catholic, came right back to Yuma High. During that time, also other coaches, Coach Farr, same one, came back to Yuma High, and Coach Butcher. So all three of us made a circle. And people used to laugh at us because between the three of us, we had over 90-something years of experience in track and field. So that worked out just fine. We figured we knew everything, so we wouldn't have a problem. Others were Mr. Malone, Vicky's father, who coached throws. And I'm trying to think anymore, that's about it. Oh, Mr. Val Taylor and Coach Weber. So there were a lot of coaches that gave me opportunities, and I truly appreciate that. Like I say, I'm gonna take you on through a journey. There are so many stories that with the club that I had that we'd be here all night. So, and I remember pretty much all of them. But those were good times. The kids enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, and a learning experience. And we did a lot of things. First time for a lot of them to fly on an airplane, even parents. We like to travel in style. I always told them that, look good as nothing else. So we stayed at the top hotels. One I remember we stayed at, I think it was a Hyatt. It's now a timeshare. It was so elaborate. The kids were going in, and they looked at the ashtray, and it had an H in it, Hyatt. So the pools, our swimming pools were in the same area where we lived, so all they had to do was go out the door and jump in the pool. So yes, I spawned, really did. They needed that kind of stuff. We traveled a lot. We traveled by bus. When I was at YPG, we had this bus, had TV on it and everything, so they traveled in style. So when we pull up in Phoenix, they know Yuma is here. And we really performed every time we go once we got started. So we fly everywhere pretty much. If it was past 100-something miles, we'd fly most of the time. Yes. And got lost. People had to go to work the next morning. At 3 o'clock, we were riding around in the morning trying to get to Yuma. But that was part of the coast. Kids enjoyed it. Parents enjoyed it. They traveled with us as well. So, take you through this journey. I started track and field, working with track and field with the AAU, which is the Amateur Athletic Union, years ago. In 1957, I was a freshman then. Had to take a test in order to coach. And I couldn't do it until I was 16, but I was in high school, so I was still training younger kids, 9-year-olds and 10-year-olds. Most of then it was baseball the first few years, and then the second year track and field came in. So I did that for 3 years, from 1957 to 1961. 61, graduated, went to college, 4 years. While I was in college for 4 years, I had the opportunity to work for the Parks and Recreation Department while I was in school. Stayed there one summer as well, and coached track and field in the AAU again with the Parks Department. That was a lot of fun because I was in the city of Austin, and kids were a little different from where I was living. So it was a challenge. I also had the opportunity to referee women's collegiate volleyball. So I not only did track, but I did coach a lot of other sports as well. But my preference was track and field. Okay, it's 1965 to 1975, a 10-year span. 65, 75, started working for the U.S. government, Department of Defense. Also, the Department of Agriculture, which would be the Job Corps program for kids ages 16 through 21. My first job was in Grants, New Mexico. Graduated May 25th, 3 o'clock in the afternoon because we had an early graduate service. We were on the road to Grants, New Mexico, 3 of us, from Grants Job Corps Center. There, coached swimming, track a few years. Stayed there for a while, 3 years. Left Grants, got transferred to Alpine, Arizona, up in the White Mountains. Nice up there, loved it, beautiful weather. There I coached basketball, dormitory, recreation, social activities. We did everything. Also during that time period, between 65 and 75, we got married, 1973. And a few days back, celebrated our 48th anniversary. We've been together a long time. But it's all okay. Also, my birthday was the 18th, so we have birthday and anniversary in the same week. Years ago, when I first started with the club, birthdays. Kids loved to give me birthday cards, birthday cakes, cupcakes. High school the same way, and I love that. And I have every card that I was ever given, right here. Read them, go back, good memories, a lot of fun. 1975, after that was a 10-year stint there, and then a 4-year stint in college, 17, and then 3 years in high school. That's 20 years already, and I haven't even got to Yuma yet. So after I left Alpine, got transferred to the beautiful city, country, state of North Carolina, in the mountains. Outskirts of Asheville, North Carolina, west, called Airway Job Corps Center. That was a lot of fun. We enjoyed it as well. Coached there as well, track and field. Then I was at the age where I was tired. I wanted to try to find myself. That was what was going on there. So I wanted to do something else. Now, check this out. I'm working for the government, and I want to try something else. I wasn't going to make any more money than what I'm making now, so it was a bad move, but it paid off though. So I stayed in Asheville, commuted after about 6 months. The center was about as far as going from here to YPG, a driving distance, so I was kind of tired of that also. So Asheville, I hooked up again with the Parks and Recreation Department because I had a background in that. I got a job, Youth Rec Center in sports, in the AAU again, the track and field. So I did that for a few years, and I got tired of that. So I said, I want to go back to the government now. This is not feeling good. So signed up again, got lucky, and got with the Department of Defense, U.S. Army, in Huntsville, Alabama, Redstone Arsenal Missile Base. So moved there. During that time, I was doing a lot of running, road races, 10Ks, marathons and stuff, so I kind of got away from, with the kids, and training in track and field, or either other sports. So, 75 to 83, I was finally got to Yuma. 1975, got transferred to YPG. Years before that, when we got married, we made a trip, and we came from Orlando, Florida, Disneyland, on a honeymoon, all the way around through Albuquerque, and come back down through San Diego, and on 8 into Yuma. It was about 114 degrees. So we got out of there quick. Got back to Huntsville. Next thing I knew, I got transferred to Arizona, to Yuma Proving Ground. Coming down from the foothills, wasn't no foothills then, going toward YPG the back way. We came in, got into town. My wife started crying. She said, "This is the hottest place I've ever been in." I tried to convince her it was humidity, not hot, humid, not hot. Then she started crying, really crying, started having headaches. I was getting afraid, scared, like, should I call the police, so get the ambulance and take her to the hospital? She said, no, she had migraines, so got over that. But that was an experience, and then we got out to YPG. And there, youth sports, mostly baseball, because that's when the Padres would come to Yuma for spring training, and a lot of the big players would come out to YPG on the team and give a clinic. And while they're giving the clinic, it would be the parents in front of the kids, and it was supposed to be for the kids, because they wanted Dave Winfield. They had to get Dave Winfield's signature, so autograph. So that was fun there, enjoyed it. No track during that period of time, because I hadn't hooked up with the Parks Department in Yuma as yet. But in 81 and 82, can't forget that, 75 to 82, yeah. 81 was with Patsy Harvey at Yuma High, and Mr. Pancras at 82. So, 83, I got a promotion, and I got transferred to Schaffenburg, Germany. We were there for 3 years. My wife worked as a teacher. I was with the youth program, youth director, for about 1,300 kids, and a staff of about 25 people. So it was a big thing. It was mostly basketball in that area during that time, but track was for the military soldiers, and I was coach of the military men and women team. And I also was running during that time myself, so I ran with the team. One of them qualified for the 1984 trials. It was in California, San Jose, and he finished fifth, so he didn't make it, but that was a milestone, He made the trials. Left in 86, did a lot of traveling while we were there. My daughter was in dance, and she did real well there and enjoyed it. She would go to school in the morning. She'd go to school half a day. Morning time, she'd go to the German school, and in the afternoon she'd go to the American school. And speaking German, mixing it up, they tell them in German school, when you go home, don't speak no German, speak English. So, and when we left Yuma, before we went there, Natasha was giving some Spanish, and she was mixing Spanish with German, and it was really goulash. It was like, couldn't understand it. So that was a good experience for her. Okay, then is when things began in Yuma, and the club begins. 1986, I got back, and prior before I got back, I got a call from a gentleman who said that they had a track down here in Carver Park. And before I left, it used to be homes over there, near the canal there, all around there. So where are they gonna put a track down there? You know, houses down there and stuff. So where's the track here? So I was very excited about that. Couldn't believe that. So about a couple hours after we got here, I came down here and there was a track here. So I said, well, now we can do some things. So Parks Department was having Jesse Owens and Hershey track meets. So I decided to get on that circuit, get them on that circuit there, start them off from there. We did that for a couple of years, maybe 4 years. Some of the athletes got to go to Hershey Nationals twice. Really enjoyed that. For me, I love chocolate, but it was too much chocolate. We went in this one area, the size of this field right here, inside, football field. That whole area full of chocolate. I mean, it was just, you know. For a while, I didn't like chocolate after that, but there's a lot of, I'm looking, people standing up there, so they be dropping, throwing stuff off in there and everything. I'm not gonna eat that chocolate. But that was a good experience twice. We did that. I can remember staying in nice places and having a real good time. Then we had the Jesse Owens, Los Angeles. We went there a couple of times, and they'd have it in the Nationals in Los Angeles, and the local one was in Yuma. And a lot of them got to meet Mrs. Jesse Owens when she was around, and that was a privilege there as well. So also we were down on the field just playing, messing around, and we saw Jackie Johnna Kersey. She was out there working out, and she called us over and she talked to the girls. And all of a sudden we hear her screaming and yelling, Jackie, Jackie, Jackie. Her husband says, you got to go to work. You know, so she had to leave and go work out, so we got that opportunity. Then went to the gym area, and Magic Johnson was in the gym. So we got to see a lot of athletes, a lot of professional athletes, and a lot of Olympians with the club. We were a nonprofit club, NAS LLC. We started off with a budget, and whatever we start off with, we end up with it. That way the IRS wouldn't mess with us. We had a lot of fund drives. One special fund drive that I had sponsored was the run-a-thon. Quick money, less than 30 minutes, I can make $1,200, $1,700. That's the kind of fund drives I like. Just sit and watch it. The young kids, we would charge $1.25 a mile. They were required to get 20 pledges. That would come to $100. We have 15, 20 kids on the team. That's big money, quick money. We made a lot more money because a lot of the 8, 7, 8, 9-year-olds, they go to the parent, go get the pledges, and they look, this child can't run no 4 laps around that track. They don't have the energy to do that. But I started training them 2 months before. So I know they can run those laps. So that was my fun drive. I like the quick money, fast. We had bake sales. One of the special ones that I really was funny. It was funny, and to this day now, I like to have some of those hot dogs now. Mrs. Almeida had special hot dogs. When we sell hot dogs, we have 2 pots. One for the general public and children, and one for the adults. Special recipe. So she never would tell them. And this one gentleman lived over in Winter Haven. When it come down, he'd be the first one in line, and he would buy all of them. So she had a special recipe for those. So you can pretty much figure out what she was putting in it. That was her fun drive. Bake sales again, like I say, and then we had sponsors. We had some good sponsors during that time. Most of the local stores, Walmart, Kmart, when it was there, any of them, they would donate. The major ones was Mr. Glenn Curtis Citrus. All he wanted was them to come out to his office. They'd be in their little outfits, running outfits, smiley faces, and he'd ask them questions. Boom. We got $10,000 just like that. Boom. Okay. The other major sponsor was Coleman College in San Diego. It was a university. They closed in 2018. But it was a gentleman whose mother who lived here in Yuma, and he'd come and visit her every other weekend. And he liked what he saw. He gave him his card, told me to called him, sent him the paperwork on what we were doing, what the club, I need that. What the club was doing, and next thing I know, we got $8,000. So that was an annual thing, man, plus what we were doing. So we could afford to go in style because whatever money we had from the beginning, at the end, we start off with $1,500, that's what's supposed to be in there, what's left. The last year of it, the money that was left over, we donated it to Yuma High School for a Greyhound bus for them to travel on for their last track meet, which was very enjoyable for them because they used to drive on the yellow school buses. Now, these same young ladies and young men would tell me, I'm not riding on that yellow school bus when they was in elementary school and junior high school. I say, in high school, that's the only way you're gonna get there. You know, so I really spoiled them on that, so it was fun for them and the parents as well. All right, winding down here, 86. So it's been a lot of years, say 1957, all the way through. You know, I've enjoyed every step of the way. Enjoyed coaching. It was fun for me as well. A lot of long hours, but you have to put in the work in order to be successful. And today they are all successful. All of them have these cushy jobs now. They're married, they got children, and they want me to coach their children. You know, whoa. So I don't know about that, but it was fun. My last working with youth was 2020 with 6 young men. 2 junior high and 4 high schoolers, football players at Yuma Catholic High School. And I had the opportunity to work with Coach Stallworth's son, Richard, which I knew from that size. And he was a big thing in football last season, working on speed, footwork, etc. And I worked with baseball players. I remember Jonathan Dees, worked with him years ago. Dempsey Dees, a lot of names. So I'll miss everybody. Can't get everybody, but I'll miss some people. But I see a lot of them here today that bring back a lot of memories, a lot of fun. And appreciate you coming for this today, honoring me, and I truly appreciate it. And I thank all of you for coming. And have a nice rest of the day. Wear your mask, wash your hands, do all that good stuff.
Coach, Angel want me to tell you that she love you, she miss you.
Angel?
This is her mom.
Yeah. Angel Green, yes.
I used to run on side with you, trying to keep up with you on that fence.
Okay, yeah. Now that has a lot of stories. When you said Angel.
She's emotional. She said she's emotional right now.
Thank you very much, yeah. If anybody have any questions they'd like to ask me? Okay.
What's next?
What's next?
Yeah. What's next? We have kids now. I got 14 grandkids. We have kids now. What's next?
What's next?
They know all about it.
The next thing will be, a couple weeks from now, I'll be in Austin, Texas for a couple weeks, then I'll be in Atlanta, and then I'll come back. And then I'll prep for my cruise next year. When you're retired, you have to retire. All I do now is consulting, and that's one-on-one, pretty much, when I'm available. Okay, any other questions? Okay, that's about it. Like I say, appreciate it. Again, special props out to Philip. A quick story about Philip. especially his children that he has now. Before Philip left Yuma, he was running on the USA track circuit, and I was coaching him, giving him training. He'd come down and he'd bring his daughters with him. Sometimes Kieran couldn't come because I had trouble pronouncing that name. Now I can pronounce it because she was in school. But Miss Ellie would always be with him. I met Ellie at 2 years old. To keep her going, I would set her over here, give her a piece of paper and a pen, and tell her, write your name. You gotta write, you're in school, you gotta write your name. So she agreed with it. She'd do it for about 30 seconds. So my cones, the little tiny cones, which were cute little cones and about her size, I'd set them up and she'd be on this side of me, walking behind me. And I'd set them down. So I sit down on the floor, then I'd turn around, and my cones were all over the track behind me. She was going behind me, moving the cones all over the place. So, and in the blocks, I had 2 sets of blocks up there, one for her and one for him. He'd get in his block. She's supposed to get in her blocks. She'd get in front of him in his blocks. So she would always impede everything. But over the period of time, she'd write her stuff. We'd play games and stuff, and all the little writing and stuff. I kept all of that, and I'm gonna give that to her when I see her. She was 2 then, and she's about, what, 4 now, 5 now, yeah. And Philip tells me she is something else. Yeah. But the Aiken family, kids, all loved every truck that I had, especially Ashley. They would get in the back of my truck after practice and they would sit there. I said, I gotta go home, you know. But I'd drive them around a little bit. Okay, that went on. Now, Ashley's son was the same way. Philip's Ellie was the same way. She got in my truck, didn't want to get out. Philip was ready to go because he had to go to work out here in the parking lot. So I drove from this side to the other side there and backed it up. Maybe that was good enough. She wouldn't get out. He reached for her. So I told her, Ellie, you have to go. Your dad has to go to work. You need to get out of my truck, you know. So she smiled. She always had a smile, and she got out of the truck. The last Aiken collectible would be the other sister, Krista. Yes, very intelligent. Krista would read in the dark if she could. All the trips, always reading, forever reading, you know, which was great. I used to give her a lot of books. She'd read them all, you know. When she was younger, we were at the 200 over there, warming up, and we had shopping carts, so I put her in the shopping cart to sit there and watch us. And we were working out and going on, and got excited. We over here on this side finally made it here, and somebody hollered, Coach, you left Krista over there on the other side of the track. I'd take off over there and get her. She just smiled and just happy as ever. So that's the type of person she was. And like I said, there's a lot of stories, a lot of memories, and I reminisce a lot. But this brings it all back, and I really appreciate that. I appreciate the work that everybody's done. Thank you a lot. God bless y'all.
Thank you everyone for coming, we really appreciate it. The track will now be known Walter R. McCloud Track at GW Carver Park. Thank you everyone.
Running through the last of my thoughts, standing on the edge of my time. Everything I know will be gone in a minute, and that's alright. Running through the last of my thoughts, standing on the edge of my time.